on September 2nd. I'd like to call the meeting to order. So I guess the first item on the agenda is the approval of, is remarks from Chelsea.
Yes, well, I just wanted to start by saying thank you all for coming in person. I know that we often meet virtually, but having an opportunity to bring us all together so that we can have meaningful discussion around our bylaws and the future of the nonprofit. Definitely wanted to do so in in-person setting. So thank you all and look forward to good discussion here this afternoon.
I think it's really a lot of effort to come back from your offices to beat the 495 traffic to come here, so thank you. So I think the next item on the agenda is for approval of the minutes from the June 18th meeting. Was everyone able to review those minutes? Are there any questions, comments? If not, then I would like to ask for a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion.
Second? Okay. All right. Everybody in favor, I guess? And so the minutes from the June 18 meeting are approved. So I guess next is John presenting the financials from June 30th, John?
Yes.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming. It's good to see all of you in person. And what we distributed to you, the financials through the end of the fiscal year, were our final reports that we submitted to our auditors. So what you have before you, of course, is the unaudited version. They have begun, and hopefully sometime in late fall we'll have it finished. So just in general, there are just a few things to note. Of course, thanks to our Inspire celebration in November of 2024, we had a net increase of total assets of 22%. Of course, in the unrestricted funds at 44%, which is very helpful for us since we have a very robust strategic plan that we will be working to implement. Our total assets is just under $700,000, $692.482. And let's see, AJ, if you just scroll down some slowly. Everyone received these reports. These two first reports came from finance. And then the final two reports, the budget actuals and summary balances came from me, and we all agree on our numbers. Probably what would be most helpful is just to go through really quickly, literally 2 minutes, through the budget to actuals, or actual to budget, whatever the right way to say it. That is page 11, AJ. So you see, we didn't meet budget on the income side, but we came pretty close, thanks to, of course, our Inspire. We didn't reach our fundraising goal, but we did raise a good amount, and also a good amount of donations through our HOC Works program. And for the sake of the audit, you'll see included the value of volunteer hours and in-kind donations. We have to include that on the balance sheet. So just so you see that all the numbers agree, I included it also on the budget to actuals. And then going down, on the expense side, we have most of our activity around the back to school drive you see, and then Tony Davis. There's more. If you remember back in June, you authorized 5 additional scholarships at $2,500 each. So that's why we're over budget on that. Also, we're, in terms of HOC Works, we're under budget on the expense side. But this year, we have more concrete plans to be more active in that area. Our kids STEM, we're a little over budget because we were awarded additional monies that we didn't expect through the year. And you'll notice later, we can go through on the next page, once we get to it, on the ledger report, we're running a deficit. That's only because we still are expecting our final invoice from the county to be paid. It's a reimbursable grant. And then our fundraising, even, I'm happy to say we're under budget on all our fundraising efforts, and also even the CRM support. We padded the budget a little bit to allow for additional support from Neon One, but we didn't need to contract or to pay for additional hours. And everything else is just the boring stuff, the administrative expenses.
How is Neon One working for you? How is Neon working for you?
Good. So we'll talk about our fundraising event, but we're using Neon exclusively for that effort.
Okay.
It's very helpful.
Okay.
And then finally, the next page, AJ, you see, basically this helps to really show on a more linear basis the programs that have most, if not all, of the activity. And the invoice that we're waiting for from the county for HOC Academy Kids STEM, it's a little more than 14,000, so we'll take care of that deficit easily. Anyone have any questions?
Very straightforward. Thank you.
All right, so I think the next item is, can you bring up I don't have the top page. I don't know what the next item is. Can you bring up the next?
The next item.
Oh, thank you. All right, so the next item is the action item for amendment for the bylaws. I guess you want to say something?
Yes, I'll start us off there, and thank you. As you all know, we have had an opportunity to think about, as the nonprofit has continued to expand in terms of our ability to raise money, how we can keep the organization and our nonprofit viable. We've had an opportunity to think about what works in terms of fundraising. As you all know, we've talked about the fact that we were having biannual fundraisers, primarily because of staffing, in terms of being able to support the ongoing fundraising for HOCP. And in thinking about how we can make sure that the nonprofit remains viable, I had one-on-one conversations with each of the directors to just try to get a sense of what was your impression when joining the nonprofit, what is your current experience yielding out to be, what do you see the future of HOCP looking like, and so that we can all come together and really get in alignment. What I heard, the feedback that I heard was pretty interesting. You know, we have some seasoned board members who joined at the beginning of the creation of this nonprofit. And at that time, thought that this purpose really was to make sure that donors could donate to the big HOC and our overall programming, that potentially with a good amount of money raised, that there could be a huge investment in an initiative that we launch. And as you can tell from some of the strategic initiatives, there was a focus on STEM, standing up once the first of its kind, HOC Academy, major programs like that to support our resident services. work. We then had another tranche of directors, so it seems like different people had different perspectives based on when they joined. And that's fair and, of course, happens often. But in the next tranche of directors that joined, there's actually a thought that it would be more of a grassroots experience, more of an opportunity to volunteer on weekends and help plan activities and events and be really active and a face for the nonprofit in the community. And then we have another group of directors that joined, and those directors joined with the thought that they would be really focused on thought partnership and policy development. And so everyone kind of came with different expectations, perspectives, and we're at a really opportune moment with the adoption of our new strategic plan to think more holistically around where do we find the sweet spot in terms of everyone's expectations? How do we make sure that as positions become available, tenures expire, that when we're recruiting, we're able to do so in a manner that makes it very clear where we are now and where we're headed. And ultimately, as I've shared with each of you all individually, the goal is to be able to bring on and to create an environment where we're all ambassadors that bring our different skills. Some people might have more experience with fundraising than others, but that we're all ambassadors on behalf of the work that we're doing here with this nonprofit. And so one of the ideas that came out of one of the meetings that we had was consider potentially expanding the size of the board. One, it could help us get quorum quicker. Two, it could help us also think about potential people in the community that might have connections that would be helpful for us when we're thinking about partnerships and we're thinking about fundraising. And then ultimately have an opportunity to have a discussion here, in regards to if that's a suggestion that is supported. As you will see, what we did in memorializing what the potential revisions could be in the bylaws is we also heard from the board the desire to maintain some of the specific skill sets in our bylaws that are identified and articulated in the board structure. We currently have an attorney position, an accountant, a marketing professional, and a resident. And the recommendation that I heard from the board was that we do find value in maintaining those specific skills, but that we would benefit from having more members on the board. And so I have before you a recommendation to add 2 additional directors, bringing us from 7 to 9. And an opportunity to think about and talk through really the direction that we're headed. The organization, the nonprofit, we are maintaining, as you can see, around $700,000 a year. We are providing a vital source of resource for the residents here with the adoption of the strategic plan, as well as some initiatives that we'll talk about later. I do believe that we will continue to be successful with fundraising and garnering the support we need, but it definitely requires some additional thought partnership and ambassadors to join us in that effort. And so I'd like to just pause and open for feedback and or thoughts as it pertains to the bylaws and or any other points that I've raised.
Comments?
I mean, I'm fine with this. My biggest surprise was you didn't take it to 11. So,
Yes.
honestly, so I don't know if there was a reason to not go
I think
there.
it was just a matter of us also realizing that there might be some turnover right now as well, and then just the effort it takes to locate and find talent and not wanting to have an issue with getting quorum. So it's something that definitely could be revisited.
Was there anything majorly anybody found that, that we were off in some areas that you wanted to bring on the table? So when we do go forward, then we are, this is passed, then we can just say, you know what, we came to we disagreed, but then we agreed and we move forward, right? Is there anything that anybody see majorly out of line? That's what I'm trying to see in any of these.
I mean, I think it's important that the board be clear what you guys see as the function of the board here. So, I'm not sure that, I mean, I heard you say people had different perceptions of that in our conversation. My perception was that you were hoping this was primarily a fundraising board, which is perfectly okay. So I think that it still is important that, that's not in a bylaw, but I think it is important that we are all pretty clear, like what the role here is.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think it feels like there's a shift happening, right, in the priorities or in the expectations and the desires from leadership of HOC in what the board does. So to your point, varying, when board members started, there may have been different emphasis on different things. And like, for example, when I joined, I don't think fundraising was ever mentioned when I joined, and it wasn't a sort of focal point. Yeah, of course, like we would, recruit and bring people to the gala and do what we can personally to support, but that wasn't sort of the primary function of the board. So certainly understand and appreciate the shift, and I think that it makes sense. And then you will want to look at these types of changes to the bylaws and think about recruitment in a way that might be a little bit different than how HOC has thought about it in the past. And so being very clear with current and future board members, kind of what that main expectation is, or the main set of expectations, I think, will be important, because it is a shift. It's certainly a shift from like where many of us who maybe have come early on, midway through, and sort of new.
And I think, to be fair, when it's just that it's evolved. The Donna Sorrell's launch of that first fundraiser was the first time there really was this huge emphasis and push on raising a great deal of money, and it's been successful. Then when we launched that first fundraiser, having to have that second one only every other year, realizing if you don't do something in between, you're no longer on someone's list of donations. You lose those connections. So it spurred interest and support, and then it turned into, how do we keep this going? I will say that, and we can touch on this now and then even further later, clearly there's a need for some full-time support to help keep those connections, keep that interest in our nonprofit. And there's some thoughts around how we can do that. But the thought is not that this would just be a fundraising board, or that this board just needs to pound pavement and raise money. If that were the case, then there'd be even a suggestion of donation limits or requirements. There are many other boards where if fundraising is the key priority, everyone is and does receive a goal to raise a certain amount or contribute a certain amount. But that's not where we're trying to head. But what is needed is the support when we are on an annual basis, and the fundraisers as it stands only happen once a year as it stands. So can we have people that might help us think about a potential sponsor or a donor, or help amplify or help send out information, and still be a part of the overall structure, which is we've adopted a strategic plan. We want to be able to have conversations along the lines of how have we moved it forward. Partnership is a big focus here, so you will hear report outs on how we've been able to stand up our partnership efforts. There's a new initiative that we want to launch that I'm going to talk about in regards to futuristic resident services that the nonprofit hopefully will support. But I do want to just be clear, it's not a situation where where I am suggesting that we just need fundraisers, but it is a situation where the organization has evolved from when it did not have a fundraiser to when it does, and needing board members to help rally support around those activities.
I think it'll be really important for these board members that we're bringing on and then others as we're thinking about recruitment to have people who are really well connected in MoCo, right? Like well connected in this community, not necessarily national footprint, or just folks who, I don't know, maybe looking at our list of donors, donor organizations, foundations at this regional level and seeing who are those key partners that have been supporting us through the years, and or potential new ones who, we may not even be thinking of right now, but who are well connected in Montgomery County. I think is going to be a key piece that if we really want to flex that muscle, I think is maybe missing a little bit. Yeah.
But I think now we are articulating it well enough, so maybe we can have like a document for the new board members that we can all agree on when you onboard somebody, to have them something, sign something and be able to make sure they understand. We understand that we have put our expectations correctly, and they also understand that they understood those expectations. So whatever are the expectations, we don't want them to be saying 3 years from now, hey, this is not how I understood the organization. I think that's important.
I think that's a great idea, to have some kind of framing document.
Yeah, it can be just maybe a 1-page or a 2-page, maybe just 5 bullet points, but something to understand.
Absolutely.
So if somebody's coming in as a, maybe as an, as an attorney or an accountant, but, you wish, with the expectation that you will also, in a way, support. Right? Although you're being brought in for a specialized role, but still you will be, and if they don't agree, then.
Well, there's always board orientations. We haven't done any of that, but because we haven't had a lot of new members that often. But I think, a session with maybe the president and a representative of HOC at a meeting with a new board member, of sitting down actually and looking some of the things we had up here would be helpful. And also, where is the board direction right now?
Yeah.
So I think that would definitely be helpful, whoever the new people are.
Yeah.
I like that suggestion. I don't think any of us got any kind of paper or,
Yeah, we did the right, like, we used to introduce the incoming to, let's say, you or me or somebody, right? But maybe we also never had a written document to be able to, and we maybe articulated it the way we saw it. It's better that we all agree to something, and so there is no.
it's also smaller. Like I came on board my first meeting, it was, it was
Yeah.
it's not, it felt smaller, or I don't know, it just felt, it just had sort of a different feel.
Right.
Yeah.
Good. So do we need to?
You would have, yes, this would require a vote to add 2 additional members to the,
It's an amendment to the bylaws.
Amendment to the
Yeah, right.
So we'd like to ask for a motion to approve Resolution 25-06 on page 17. Do we have?
Motion?
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Resolution 2506 is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And so then the next step, and I do think it's a great idea, will be for us to memorialize what this position is and get, make sure we're all on the same page with that.
Chelsea and team, how can we help? Does this mean we have 2 open spots immediately and you guys will start actively recruiting? And do you have a short list? How does that work? How can we be helpful and supportive in that?
I think it does mean we have 2 positions immediately. The question is 3, actually.
We have 3 terms expired at the end of 2024. and we have 1, 2, 3 more expiring the end of this year. So
Should,
those expiring this year, if you all continue, then that's good. But we have the 3 who have expired, may not elect to continue, those as well as the 2 new ones. So it could be as little as 3, it could be as many as 8.
Wait,
All
8,
depends.
6?
Yeah, 3 expired in 2024, 3
Are expiring
are
this year.
expiring this
Which
year.
positions are expiring this year?
This
Plus
year
the 2.
is Lexi, you, Eileen, and Alexandra.
Oh, I didn't realize it.
It's 3 years already.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then is mine in the 3
Your-
that expired?
That was
or-
2024, you, Ken, and Mo.
Right.
Yeah,
Yours
thank you
expired
for-
already?
Yeah.
Okay.
And thank you for continuing during this transition period.
No, I get you, the 9. So, I mean, one thing I think could be helpful, Chelsea, for you to think about is whether, I know I said this to you on the phone, I'm happy to accommodate, like, you know, it may be that you work with some of us who are like, we're happy as you start to find other people to take over, but, you know, we also don't
Not
want to
leave you in a
leave you
lurch.
without a quorum.
Right.
So if you maybe can think about that a little and get back to us about, you know, okay, you know, you've agreed to do another 6 months or another year or something while I think that would be,
definitely will do, and I don't have a short list. So if you all have, and I think the suggestion in regards to looking at our list of donors, looking at, and in fact, I'll have further discussion with John. There's definitely ways that you could get information on top philanthropic folks in the area, try to.
Who are our top donors from
Yes.
the gala?
Yes. Right.
I mean, I remember having a couple people reach out and ask about sort of board seats but doing that in a more thoughtful way.
Right.
Right? And is it I think at least the way I was recruited, it was, you know, more grassroots, right? It was Shauna reaching out to me and saying, hey, we've got, you know, so is there something that's a little more structured? Do we continue to do that sort of more targeted outreach, which may be more appropriate when you've just got 2 spots? I don't know, just stuff for you guys to think about.
I mean, again, not, I don't have any person suggestions. I do feel like somebody who's kind of very well connected with the Chamber of Commerce would be really good. And there may be somebody in the current donor system that is, but just as like a good connection, someone with one of the healthcare systems, I think would be really good. And then like one or who else is, you know, whether it's Marriott or the
That's what I was
tech,
thinking, yeah.
but who else is a really big employer in the county? But like those would be kind of my initial targets, because I think that would both diversify this beyond, you want to get beyond the real estate world.
Yes.
I mean,
Employers
ideally.
of our clients are members too, you know, like who are those entities in our community, and they have a real stake in this. So how do we bring those folks into the fold that have a sphere of influence regionally that some of us who are maybe more national, sit more in a more national space have,
No,
you know?
the healthcare one too. That could be a good, you know, they could maybe coordinate some clinics or something. That could
I mean, there's no doubt, I have no doubt that we have people working for the health systems who are living in HOC properties, I'd say.
Yeah.
We could
Yeah.
100% say that's certainly happening.
These are all
And plus, there's a
excellent
good
ideas.
resident serve, I mean, it's kind of an appropriate type person to be thinking of, you know, the implications on health and housing.
all right.
These are all great ideas.
And, I mean, the other would be, I don't know what bank is the biggest here
Right.
in the county.
Many of our bank partners are, do business with us, of course. So Wells, for example, they're coming down from New York this week, and PNC is one of our largest banks that they do a lot of our resident services work and financial literacy work for us. I think we just had Truett do a wonderful home ownership program. So the banks have really come in handy in terms of helping us with programming, but maybe there is a thought around participation on in another forum as well, so.
Yeah, they wouldn't be I wouldn't put them top priority, but, I mean, at the moment, they still get CRA credit for serving on a board to some degree.
Right.
So, but you want the regional person.
I was gonna
obviously,
say, you
not
don't want the New York person.
So you want
Right.
Victor for Wells, right?
Yep.
'Cause he's the local guy. Right. Do you know him? Victor Perron?
Yes, not super well, but yeah,
right.
I think that's right.
Well, these are all wonderful suggestions and ideas. I greatly appreciate it, and I'll have follow-up discussions.
I'm happy to help, like,
Yes.
you know, and I feel like you'd be really good at, like, just sit down and be like, okay, here's some names and thoughts and really kind of hash it out in maybe a working session or something.
I appreciate that. I will take you up on that.
I have some recruitment materials already drafted, and once Chelsea and Davida look it over and add, I'd like to get your feedback to see, from your perspective, what may be missing, what we need to add.
Absolutely.
That would be good.
Great.
I realize I did not use.
Well, thank you.
Fine. So,
I need to use, I did not use the bathroom before
okay.
the trip.
Hold on, does she need to give her a pass?
Look this way.
I think maybe we can take a
Left.
couple of minutes break
You'll see
till she
it.
comes back. Is that fair?
No, it's open. It's open, John.
Is it? Okay.
This is,
I think that's fair.
No,
this
that's
is.
open.
yeah,
The bathroom.
When she comes back?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
I guess it just depends.
Are we gonna wait until she comes back? Okay, great.
Yeah.
I want snacks.
Might be good to get a dessert.
Yeah.
Great.
Chelsea, have you get raised from any of the community foundations in the county?
You know, and I'm gonna have follow-up discussion with you because I forget, it must have been, maybe it was Jonathan or Paul, but they told me you have a lot of fundraising experience. They're like, Eileen's not.
Yes, but nationally, not like, that's the problem. I don't know.
Well, I'm gonna follow up with her a little more.
No, but not the county, that's, you know.
Well,
But, I mean,
we
there's,
need national fund, it doesn't have to be local in
yeah.
fact,
I know.
it's good when you're not, because then you're not competing against the other nonprofit that's also reaching out to the exact same donor, but,
The national but it's worth, it's worth trying, so.
I would say that I haven't had a whole lot of success with the Greater Washington Community Foundation in the sense that ultimately what they have suggested is that we go forward with looking at grants and their annual grant making process, which we will, but I wanted to think through more strategic, a different type of strategic partnership potentially.
Yeah, yeah.
So-
Yeah, and I don't know, there's a Tacoma which isn't huge, but you guys, there's like a Tacoma Foundation.
I don't know that.
Oh, yeah, I think it's a community foundation, but still, you guys have a lot of stuff in Tacoma Park, so, those aren't you're not gonna get major big bucks, but still.
Right.
But I just wonder if there's another community foundation and I had another thought when you just said that. I'm just trying. Oh, United Way?
United Way, we have made contact with United Way. I need to circle back to find out what's going on. Rosie Herring.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I haven't seen her in years.
I know.
Technically know her.
I need to reach out with her.
You know her?
I met her my first year.
Okay.
We're part of the same sorority as well. And she was like, welcome, and essentially, I'll see you when the dust settles. And so I need to circle back and have a follow-up with her for sure.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, she worked at
She has a great board as well. So one of the things I have done is go to look at other nonprofits and think, okay, what
Other regional nonprofits,
and who
yeah.
are on their boards and, but oftentimes that means that people are already stretched or they're already committed.
So maybe their terms are expiring and they want to transition over.
So certainly, I mean, United Way should be a target. You know, they may not be comfortable doing gala kind of stuff, but for one of the programs.
Right. And the Urban League, NAACP, we've made those partnership reach outs as well.
I also wonder about like not to like didn't add on, but like, is there some sort of, we would do this at Habitat years ago. We would have almost like a special committee focused on our gala, and it would be, 3 or 4 people. We'd pick them, we'd sort of make a to-do at the gala about these, but they would also help us think about like that event in particular and fundraising for that. And we had a huge auction, so like
Right.
they would help like pull all those things. But one, maybe 2 would be board members sometimes, but often they weren't. They were just people we were like, you know what, Dykema Gosset's a huge donor and we're bringing one of their partners and they're gonna help us, like, they're gonna be the face of this gala for us this year and help bring partners and people. So just maybe something for us to think about as an additive piece to our gala that would help get some people to bring a focus on it in a way that, I don't know.
That's
And it's a way to help kind of honor and showcase maybe donors who have been, like, you've been big supporters of our gala in the past. We want to honor you this year with this seat, help you, like, come to the table, help us think about how else can we expand this and grow this and get more attention on it and more support, and these are folks who tend to be pretty well connected in their, in our community. So just another sort of thing to think about.
But I know we talked about this before, the awards thing. And I realized, like, I think this is something that you guys need to be just very clear on for your gala, like, is the focus of the gala raising money, right? I've been on boards where they're like, no, but then I still wonder why they don't raise a lot of money with the gala. Like, it really needs to be, like, it can do other things, but you gotta, if that's actually the purpose, then you think about that through. And, a good way to get people to a gala is honoring somebody. I mean, that's the reality. People will show up and buy tickets, especially businesses, for somebody who's being honored. I mean, it might take a while for HOC to kind of get there,
Yeah.
but, when you were saying like big donors, that's because then there is an expectation that if you're getting honored, then your company or, and some places have okay, we're going to honor somebody of significant means, and we're going to honor somebody who's a community person, and we're going to have different expectations for those too. So it's not just about that, but honestly, it's probably the easiest way to increase your circle, to find a person who you don't necessarily have to have a lot of connection to. They just need to be doing something related to HOC's mission or HOCP's mission. But but then you have to, has to be clear, like, oh, we're really hoping that you'll be able to sell a table or two. And,
That's right. And so we've been doing that with the gala, right? We honor, like, we bring in and give awards to organizations, but yeah, maybe expanding on that. And it's like, we're honoring somebody who's, a leader in the community who's been donating to us, to other, finding some, just, keeping, not getting rid of or replacing the, those awards that we give out now to our organizational nonprofit partners, but adding that, as Eileen said, that piece, yeah.
Right, but also it can't be like everybody and their mother gets an award. So I'm just saying, these are hard choices. But, that's usually how people use galas to make money.
Right.
They honor somebody who then their law firm shows up, their whomever shows up, That's just the way it all works.
And probably even the type of event, not just the purpose, but, we've always, since the beginning of the gala, we've had it's more informal with the heavy hors d'oeuvres we've never had a sit-down dinner.
Right.
So the way you're talking about galas, it kind of assumes that, that's the overall venue, that's the overall attraction, have a big table, and have donors and organizations purchase tables to add to the fundraising effort. Probably part of all of this discussion is to include that as well. Like, do we really want to expand to something like that?
Right, which it gets at, like, again, what is the main purpose? And then, I mean, I'm just thinking of gala, things I've been at where you kind of just have the ticket. I don't know if it's quite as successful because people like don't have that same ability to be like sitting here like I'm networking, even though it's not like anyone loves going and sitting down for dinner. So this makes no sense, right? But I think that individual ticket where you're just kind of there and you don't really have a place and it's harder for people to network, I think winds up not necessarily being as valuable as to, and we talked about this before, like just paying somebody who knows Montgomery County fundraising to get to get some, especially just with the gala, like that's what they know. They've worked for other organizations who've had successful galas, silent auctions in the county. Because we could do this for 4 years and be way off.
Right.
Like you just got to pay the person who actually knows the deal.
Is planning these things in this community.
Right.
Are, in your experience, are auctions, do they work? I know they're a lot of work.
You have
So-
to have wealthy, really.
Yeah.
I was going to, so I did this early in my career when I was at Habitat for Humanity affiliate in Michigan, and it was a full-on gala sponsor. You buy tables. We had a huge silent auction and a live auction. It's a lot of work. It is a tremendous amount of work on the staff. I mean, we were working it full-time. My team, I was development director, and we did it was like recruitment. You're working every board member. You're having a meeting with every single board member to be like, who do you know? What can, thinking through. I mean, it raised a lot of money, but it is a lot of legwork. So it's something that I think if you take on something like an auction, a live and or silent auction, you can do silent auctions in a more manageable way. I don't think you get as much out of it. I think really selling the tables, selling the tickets is kind of where the big piece of it is. If you add that auction piece, I think you really just have to be ready from a staff or staffing out perspective, but it's really the personal connections. It was like a board member who's like, I know this person that has an Airbnb here and will donate a week. And, it's that kind of.
I feel like we also have a lot of competition with private schools.
All right, so just,
So in the silent, who do a lot of
Right.
silent auctions. Yeah.
Eesh. So maybe that's not something we
I don't
want to
know.
sort of venture into, but I think a step would be maybe being a little more deliberate about like table sponsoring and potentially looking at honoring someone that is a leader in the community. So maybe that gets us kind of to a place where it's not the kind of legwork from a staff perspective with an auction, but.
well, I will say, these are all great ideas. One of my aspirations is that we are able to evolve to a point where we are able to bring on talent that can focus in on the fundraising and the programming component, which leads to this next topic. Because as much as I hear and try to, implement some of these ideas, I have capacity limitations.
Right, you don't, right.
John has capacity limitations. We're running the big HOC and also really doing great with the nonprofit as is, but it's time for that next step up. So one of the concepts that I wanted to propose, and this is the next item, it's a revision to our HOC works policy, but it's an intentional strategic expansion. And I will definitely, this is a precursor, a preview to a much more robust conversation that I look forward to having with you all when we have a whole pitch deck together. But HOC owns a property in downtown Silver Spring. It's currently our customer service center. It's 880 Bonifant Street, so it's very well located. It's right across from where the library is, Whole Foods, Purple Line is going to open right there. And it's one of our top 2 most visited sites for customers. They come and drop off paperwork. We have resident services
Is that
there.
the senior building?
No, it's our own building. We have a
Okay, but
standalone
is
building.
it in a high-rise or it's on?
It's like a mid-rise. You probably would never know it. It doesn't
By
even
itself,
have.
it's a standalone, like.
I mean, I live, like, it's between Fenton and Georgia, though, on Bonifant? Or is it across the street and it's by the gas station?
By the gas.
It's by the gas station.
The
you.
gas station is on the
Okay.
property, yeah.
I'm like, I know,
Yeah.
I think I know everything on that street.
And we've been able to leverage this space for staff and for customers to come, but it actually, the top floor is a pretty large, wide open area that we used to rent out to a church, and for a congregation, and has enough space to imagine some potential programming. And so one of the ideas that I'd like to advance to both HLC and HOCP is to transform this space into a futuristic resident services space where programming is centered around advanced degrees, advanced curriculum, AI, some of our drone partners coming in and imagine your resident services experiences. You're getting a LinkedIn profile before you leave, like thinking more futuristically about how we serve our current residents as well as the programming that we provide. But that would require certain partners. It would also entail us thinking about programming. And as you all know, as we're developing our properties, there's no longer that office that's the resident services office. Our community spaces that are in these mixed income, developments aren't what they used to be. So this is a space where we can have programming and have that flexibility for our customers on an ongoing basis. So the concept is, and I've advanced it to some extent with the HOC board, because our new headquarters has 1 floor of retail space that at one point was going to be a customer service center. But as I shared with the commission, it is really not our hope that people will come and sit for long periods of time like you're at the DMV. And it felt as though we were going to have this huge space that ultimately might result in people just coming in and sitting and waiting for their number to be called. And when we looked at our data and our stats, the average person who visits our office, they're here and gone in 5 minutes. So because they drop off what they need to get, or they contact whoever they need to. So we have on the big HOC side decided to repurpose that first floor for retail, so that there can be some active retail for the employees, as well as take advantage of some of the clientele in the nearby SCRAC and our Leggett, some of our senior properties, Alexander House over there. But also, at that time, we would have been disposing of this asset, 880 Bonifant, and moving it over. Decided we should keep that asset, 880, and think about how we can repurpose it. And so I'm not able to give the pitch that I'd like to give because we need collateral materials to demonstrate. I'd like to have a pitch deck to share with this board as well as, and bring both boards together actually, at the Enrichment Center, to share what we potentially could do together if we think about this concept. One way to think about how we fund it in a time like this is to leverage our HOC Works policy. So currently, as you all see, we receive funds from businesses that are under contract with HOC. If the contract is under 50,000, there's a commitment of 3% to contribute towards either workforce opportunities and or to donate to our nonprofit. If it's over 50,000, it's a 5% requirement. And it is a good way of ensuring, one, connection with our mission, but then two, it helps fund our programs. These are some of the donors who come to and that we celebrate actually at these events. Sometimes they go above and beyond these requirements. What we have right now is a lot of development underway where I do believe that we can leverage some of our partners that we're working with now to create the interior design instead of giving your 5%. Create the pitch deck instead of hiring the intern, because you're going to help us do this pitch deck that's going to ultimately lead to funding and our partners giving more. A pitch deck that could also, of course, leverage, a strategy that could also leverage an ability to attract more partners. As you all know, we also have launched a partner with HOC campaign. If you didn't know, we need to share more about that, but we've launched a partner with HOC campaign. So this is another way that once we have this material and we're thinking strategically around who these partners could be, it could be Boeing, it could be Google, it could be all of the different potential local businesses that have these types of fields that might be of interest for our youth and for our current adults. Just thinking about how we can really reactivate this space and position our folks for the future. So why I'm here putting the cart before the horse, because at this stage, in order to even take that first step of doing due diligence, of even trying to figure out the schematics of what can this building be, and can we make it a cool futuristic space where my youth can go down and, what is it when you make your Insta reel and be an influencer? I don't know. Did I create a space for the future influencers to be able to create their content, or whatever it is that this can be? We need to do a little bit of due diligence, and I'd like to be able to leverage some of our current contractors that are doing work for us, building Hill and Dale and doing futuristic stuff with environmental, just all of our different folks, to think about how we could potentially get this done. And if, with your support, we expand the HOC Works policy to allow for that level of due diligence work, then being able to come to both boards to see if this is an initiative that we should be coming together with on a strategic direction. The next step, however, I will say, if we do go this route, would be thinking about a potential leader, whatever that title may be, of that center that can therefore also be focused on the fundraising and the programming and be dedicated and have an office and a place where they're meeting people and see what we're doing and see what the future holds, and that donor gets a block in the front or whatever we need, but ultimately being able to position us where there really is a space, a place, and a person that can help advance the mission more intentionally. And so the request, I would love to hear feedback, and I want to just say again, my desire would be to be able to do something, even in a pitch deck form, along with the HOC board, of what this can be, and get ideas and thoughts and feedback, but wanting a chance to try to do some initial due diligence before presenting that.
The couple of questions. So that's a great, interesting concept. My first is just so I have the geography. Where's your new headquarters going to be?
It's off of Fenwick. It's right across from the South Aquatics.
Near the pool.
Yes, yep. So we're building now, and we'll be moving in December, January.
Okay. Kind of what age group are you imagining for this? And have you guys done any focus group?
Yes, great. In fact, I'll turn it over to Davida now to continue the pitch.
Oh, sure, yeah. We did 2 youth focus groups. We actually are in the process of scheduling focus group for adults. We anticipate that it'll skew towards youth, but it'll also be for adults. Young adults, adults of all ages. We really want it to be an inclusive space. In the youth focus groups, They were more so envisioning more of like a recreational type of space, which this is not a rec center. It's not, we're not trying to do sports, but they did have some great ideas around educational activities. They were actually surprisingly very much interested in walking away with something tangible as opposed to just coming in to have fun. And then the other half of them were more focused on recreation. And we're happy to share the focus group results with you all, so you can see some of the ideas that they had, but a lot of it was around life skills. Wanting to learn life skills, independence, things of that nature.
What I think is driving this is as we think about how to prepare our children and our current workforce for where the future is headed, wanting to be really intentional on giving opportunities to learn these different skills and creating this space. So you come to drop off your research packet because it will still be a customer service center, but you see that there's a cool AI graphics class that your kid can sign up for that's taking place on that Saturday. And it's like the exposure, and we hear time and time again at our scholarship events and others that it was that initial exposure that literally changed their trajectories. We have some really strong current partners that are doing the drone classes as well. And even, and I didn't realize how many career fields there are in drone driving for adults, but that's a whole separate career path, especially with in the federal government as well. And so just thinking about how we can be intentional on always preparing our youth and our customers for where the future is headed. And that will mean a little more intentionality around looking at careers, looking at development, and how we're able to position our services. And this place would allow for us to almost create that incubator feeling. But it also has the flexibility because it's a space, so it can be and evolve as time goes on, if we so desire. But as we think about potential partners and the stand-up of it, and hopefully get some support around it, it could be definitely, I think, a game changer for our residents who don't currently have, again, they're not going downstairs to go sit in the community center. We're not bringing the same type, unless it's one of our older sites has that feel. We're not bringing that same kind of programming feature to some of our mixed income properties. But instead, they would hopefully come and enjoy programming at this particular site.
Can I ask a couple more questions?
Please do.
Do you imagine if this was successful, would you imagine doing one more up county in like Gaithersburg or Rockville or something?
Yes, but
It's hard to imagine like 17-year-old in Gaithersburg is gonna come all the way down.
Oh, absolutely. And I
Downtown
think
Silver
this is
Spring.
just, this is just a start here. And it's leveraging a space we have. We do have space also, in the Gaithersburg area. Our headquarters there is another site we could consider, but right now it's just trying to see, does this work? Does this idea work? And even, can I convince you all that this is an interesting concept we should explore?
And then my other question was just why not do this on the first floor instead of trying to do retail?
Well, because twofold. One, when we were building HQ for my headquarters, if you go there and you look around, there's no coffee shop, there's no sandwich shop, there's no place for you to grab lunch other than you taking yourself all the way across Colesville and hopefully making your way back. Okay, so just thinking about the lack of availability of resources there was one thing. The potential of having a revenue stream for HQ, which is our only asset that has zero revenue affiliated with it, was also advantageous consideration.
My last, I think you could do something from a fundraising of tying it to the Purple Line. And maybe the library. So the library is great there. So, I mean, if I was pitching this not to us, but to funders, I would definitely be like, okay, the county's made this huge investment in the Purple Line. This is a great example of how this provides some access to people who are very underserved. Because it's literally right across the street from the Purple Line, right? When you first started, I was actually like, why doesn't, obviously you don't own it, so that's the first answer. Montgomery College is so close, right? Why not be doing something like this in Montgomery College versus kind of recreating? So it could be interesting to see if somehow they would become
A part.
a little bit of a partner here.
You're right.
And
right
there are
there.
some other businesses, even, is it General Dynamics? There's a couple of other businesses that are nearby, even the,
Sadly, because they all have left. But.
right. And so we definitely would explore partnerships. Kid Museum, there's a lot of different places that if we're able to get good partnership in terms of programming, hopefully they would see the value in coming and creating a smaller version in partnership with us. This is an intentional, and I use the term for the first time here, but incubator. We recognize you're coming here because you are one of our clients, and we want to be able to provide a resource and programming that's tailored to you. One of the interesting points that the focus groups yielded with our youth is their desire to bring their friends and their cousins and everybody to whatever they come to as well. So we'll have to think through how, when we do move forward with programming, how we'll prioritize who gets involved. But I think, again, this is an idea that we wanted to advance. I think it sets the tone for preparing our folks for the future and can hopefully create an opportunity for that dedicated staffing towards supporting HOCP as well. So.
Similar to the Montgomery College, I had, I think, a similar thought. So it sounds like you all have not yet gotten to the place of sort of identifying partners of any kind.
We have like a ongoing evergreen list, so additional thoughts are very welcome.
Okay.
And Montgomery College is they're one of our current partners, and they are on that list in terms of expanding the partnership specifically in relation to this effort.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as you were talking before you said incubator, that popped into my mind as like the ability to equip, that your clients can come in there and have that social environment, but they're leaving with skills. And so incubator, another example, not in the tech space quite as much as a maker space that you see examples, and a couple housing organizations I'm familiar have built that into some of their communities, where they've also done some intergenerational stuff where they bring in, get the equipment and tools, bring in some partners, and then there's spaces for that too.
I think with the client, it's only about creating awareness, right? When they are there for the 30 seconds or 2 minutes to drop something is to create awareness, right?
Oh, no, we'll have actual programming happening.
Yeah, but they will,
But it'll be in different locations, right? If they're dropping off the
No, in
paperwork
that
at headquarters?
This location has the ability to get on the elevator and go upstairs and actually participate in the course.
They're not going to do the documents at headquarters. They're going to make this the.
Okay, I misunderstood that.
And
Yeah.
it's currency.
I got confused too.
It's also in one space, so it'll be customer service
Okay.
on one floor, and then the lower floor and the top two floors will be enrichment center, so it'll be a blend.
but is there an advantage that you have thought of internally of moving the customer service out of the HQ into here?
I'm sorry, started.
Is there an internal advantage that you have of moving customer service out of that center into this center, or out of the headquarters into here?
Is it a disadvantage, is what you're saying?
Advantage and disadvantage, have you taken
No,
that up?
because right now, this new office that we're moving to for HQ would be, people would have to reorient themselves. They're currently really going to this other site.
Okay.
This particular office is the least visited at Kensington. Our Silver Spring office and our office that's in East Deer Park are our two
Okay.
higher
Yeah.
frequented.
Yeah.
And nobody will ever get turned around from HOC. So we will have a front desk. There will be, if someone ever comes to that headquarters, we're not going to say, oh, you're only a mile away from the other location. No, they will get served and service there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did think of one thing, in terms of so you say, for example, you're teaching A+ IT or whatever on top. thinking of the partnership that we already have with Montgomery College, if we could, if they could have a space where, I know they have a career center, where they can dedicate at least like 10 of those to the people who are getting their certificates from the enhancement center or enrichment center. Yeah, I think that would be a really good idea, or at least get people on board who, like the teachers who are also, or instructors who are also able to provide career opportunities for the people as they graduate as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, our thought is that this space would be bustling all year round. We'd have a calendar of activities that people can sign up for, pick from, for all ages. So, we would have a really full and robust schedule. And as new partners come on, we would fold them into the calendar when there's a slot so they can use that space. So we know we want flexible space where the rooms can kind of flex from a small room to larger rooms in case there's a large scale event, our back to school event, like all of that could take place potentially in this space.
So, and outside vendors can come and create their own programs there, or?
Say that again?
Outside vendors can come in and create their programs there,
They
or?
can partner with us too, if it's a fit. Absolutely, as well as the small businesses that we help to start could use that space as well.
A lot of these programs will be very, like the way you are describing, creating that structure is the hardware, and then creating those programs is the software part, right? The software part is the more important than sometimes the hardware, because for a lot of these activities, you only need an open room. You don't need much infrastructure to create a robotics program or stuff, right? You just need some space, because almost every, should not say every, like in many communities that I see, that like every 20th or 30th house, the basement is basically converted into a robotic center. So if we create the structure, then these kids get that opportunity to come here and be able to spend the 1 or 2 hours every day to be able to create their own robotic program.
It's a neat idea, as long as it's able to evolve over time.
And that's why we definitely want to make sure that the space can be flexible. And you'll see it. I'd like to invite you all to this space and have, again, the joint meeting. The hope is if we're able to leverage our current contractors who currently have HOC works requirements. And let's say you're already painting HQ, and I say, hey, we actually would like to leverage you to paint this building instead. Or if you're doing interior decorating for HQ, can you come up with some design concepts to present to the board on what this design could look like here? So that's what we're asking. This is an action item really to expand HOC works, and then really bring you all together, because I'd like to find out what is the bottom line on how much would it cost to make whatever revisions. I think we might need an extra bathroom. I think that's one thing I have to think about.
Staffing.
What staffing would look like. We'd probably leverage our current staff and make some shifts in terms of scheduling and look at that as an option. But really it's the hardware, as you would call it. What does it cost to get that stood up? Can we get a deck together that allows for Davita and me and her team to successfully obtain some good partners so that we can start off with some really robust programming, and then get it going. But yes, so the question for you all, and I'm glad you're all seemingly interested in the overall concept, which we can continue to massage in terms of what we want to focus in on and the type of partners that might be good for it. Support around giving more flexibility with HOC work.
So what's your ask today? Are you asking us to approve it?
Yes,
Approve
the expansion that would allow us to direct partners to this type of fundraising. Because as it stands now, or donations, as it stands now, this type of activity is not listed on page.
Yeah, it's more focused
27.
on educational
Right.
and imagining new things.
But do you need HOC commissioners' approval for this, or have they?
This is,
Or do you need?
I think HOC Works is from the nonprofit.
Yes, that's correct.
That's why it's here as an action item.
payments from HOC, I'm seeing it, contractors are related.
Appropriations issues or anything, it's just that you have that much flexibility with the usage.
With so there's also HOC Section 3, that would not be touched.
That's not-
We have to follow the federal guidelines, but
Records.
HOC Works was created. Ken, were you the genius behind it a little bit?
That's very creative.
And so here we are still benefiting from it.
Yeah.
So the policy that you originally adopted a few years ago focused exclusively on programmatic expenses related to education, small business, tuition assistance, and the like. The changes to this policy now is to expand that to not just programmatic, but any capital-related expenses, even personnel expenses that the enrichment center will have. And again, it's the same overall thematic government.
Right.
It's still focused around enrichment, education.
Just broadens the leveraging of how to be able to do it.
Yeah.
Smart. And frankly,
So to clarify, I think in this case, the way you described it initially was that the contractors would contribute in kind, like, you would ask them, hey, do this job. But here I can see the payments from HOC contractors to be made out to, with a notation. So are these payments being received in cash or check?
No, I think we need to keep going down.
Yeah.
I think this is just comparing the.
Yeah, they can do
current-
in kind
Where's
or
the-
give money,
This
even
stuff
now.
is-
It's on page 32.
Can give money?
That's where you see in our budget, where you see the money that we get, 9 times out of 10, when they don't create a position. Let's say it's a law
Yeah, right.
firm.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, it's hard for me to find one of your residents that I can bring into my firm. Instead, I'm going to contribute X amount.
Approval of funds
At the
request.
bottom of the.
Oh, look, and I'm looking at you, Mo, when I'm saying it, right?
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Keep going.
AJ, can you keep scrolling
Keep going,
down?
I think.
Thank you, AJ.
Yeah, strengthening school readiness.
So yeah, this agenda item
There's.
doesn't go into great detail on
Yeah.
overall section 3. Basically, the uses, or it gives a policy on what the board can approve.
Okay.
On how to use these
Okay.
funds. Not how we receive them, but how we use them.
All right. No, I think our able board member, like Ken, has already, created this, but if there are no more questions, maybe we can move forward, but are there any more comments at this point? Okay.
Okay, great.
Then, can we ask for a motion to approve Resolution 2507?
Motion.
Lexi, motion.
All right.
Second.
All right, awesome.
Keep going.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
All right, Resolution 2507 for the HOC works policy is approved.
Thank you. All right,
Good luck.
commissioners, so stay tuned. Commissioners. It's too hard to have directors and
We
commissioners.
are not that hard. We are not.
It's 3 years later, and I literally cannot get it right, but pardon me. I look forward to bringing you all together at the site so that we can imagine what this can be together. Okay, great.
I think we discussed deliberating the fundraising while we had the bathroom break, or
Right,
come back to
we
that?
did. This was just really, as you can see, we're definitely just trying to make sure we do not lose momentum with fundraising. This is a less stressful fundraiser, but still a good effort that's coming up. You all probably have seen the notices around Partner Fest. The staff has done a great job of thinking about how can we do something in between a huge Inspire celebration, but still bring together partners who enjoy coming together, especially during, what do we call this season of people running for offices and a chance to network and connect. And so, wanting to leverage that moment as well here in the county. And so Partner Fest is coming up at the end of October. It is only 2 hours, so it's a very quick come in and, for our partners who have given funds before, and even those who join us, we'll be spotlighting them in a very big way. So they'll see their information. We'll spotlight them on the website. They'll have a chance to mix and mingle and connect. And before you know it, it would be hopefully a very successful fundraiser for us, but it'll allow us to lift up the work we do.
Where is it?
It's on October 23rd.
Oh, where? I'm trying to.
Oh, it's at
right there.
Pinstripes. And so Pinstripe actually has, which is in Pike and Rose.
Yeah, okay,
They have an outside rooftop kind of venue. So it's not there just for bowling. They do have some nice space that we can leverage for this event. And we'll also really focus in on the work we're doing with
5:30,
Partner
7:30.
Fest and that kickoff. So,
That's a nice idea, and it
yes.
keeps the fundraising.
That's it. And it's a lower, it doesn't require as much as trying to transform a whole space with Inspire and that.
What are you looking for from us?
Yeah, so John has probably already sent you the save the date. We'll do our standard, hey, can you just amplify this? I think that's, John, please feel free to chime in, but this is.
It's invite only.
This is, and if you know people, so we really focused in on if you donated before, we want to bring you back and say thank you, have a cheers. And truthfully, it is a low cost event. So we are hoping to raise money and to thank our partners who've been steady with us through this. And so if you have a partner in mind that we have not partnered with, that you have a connection to, that you think we might want to invite to this, let me know, and we'll say we'd like to extend a special invitation to join our Partner Fest. Many times people just want to meet other people. They find out that this developer is going to be there and they're an architect and they wanted to meet the developer. So I think the networking is what's going to be the plug here, and some of the elected officials that will also come, and the audience that might come to visit and meet with them is really another wonderful opportunity here.
Is there a way you can share with the group sort of confidentially, maybe not necessarily individual names, but like organizations, businesses, others that are on the list already that will like help jar
Yes,
some potential ideas?
yes.
We have all of them listed on our website, Community Partners website.
Okay, all of them?
Their levels are all listed.
Okay.
And even their level of support in 2024.
So those are all.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
But I mean, I think if there is ideas about like during the event, ways that you all maybe want to connect with some of the partners that are there, or however you think would make sense, I think feel free to share.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Where on the website is it?
So go to, scroll down, or
Oh, in fact, I don't know. Oh, it's not, he's not leading the device.
Our sponsors.
Sponsors, yeah.
I didn't realize we kept a comprehensive list on there.
Well, we try to, give them their shine
Yeah.
on our website.
So that's
And-
everybody who's donated like at any time?
It looks like organizations.
Just if it-
Yeah.
And
the gala?
some individuals as well, yes.
Okay.
Oh.
So, just wanting your support, Thought Partnership, if you think of anyone that we should ask, and if you see this and have any thought in mind, obviously, we'd love for you to join us at the event, and John will do what he does, which is give us the verbiage that we can use and how we can say, donate now. I'm certain there will be a social component. I guess it won't go on socials.
So, yeah,
Since
it's
this
gonna be
is
just an
invite only.
outreach
Yep.
to a very defined audience, and it will be an outreach that really highlights their generosity. It's to really make them not only feel good about what they do, but also, in addition to that, accentuate the impact that their generosity has on our residents. So we will be highlighting not only their contributions, but we'll also be bringing some impact stories to focus.
So just something one thing that we used to do at Habitat is I would put together all of our like higher level donors or folks that we wanted to make sure got attention at our event. I would basically divide up the list with our board members and give them like, here are your like people. And if you can make sure that you go and personally thank them on behalf of the board, get a photo, I would talk and be like, this person, this organization's been donating to us for 5 years. They've been doing this. Like, so if there's a way we can add a personal touch to that,
Fantastic idea.
let me know. I mean, we would put that, I would meet with every board member and be like, here are your people. And
Great idea. We will do that.
Oh, there's that Impact Silver Spring. I gotta find out who's in that. I know. You would know the people.
I would.
Yeah. But that, if you guys are actually looking at the thing, that would be.
Impact Silver Spring. Okay, we'll
That's
look
what's
them
called
up.
Catalyzing Change in Montgomery County. They have programs.
There are customer resource guide.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. All right. Well, we will look them up as well. I just want to say thank you to you all. This has really been a wonderful meeting. I think being in person is hands down much better, but I know it's also a lot less convenient. So I greatly appreciate you all taking the time and coming here. Look forward to following up on our fundraising, as well as really excited to bring you all to this space where we can envision a future together. So thank you for your support.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you guys. Thanks to the staff.
Motion.
We need a
Oh.
motion to adjourn.
Motion.
A motion to adjourn. So anybody, second, right?
Right, thank you.
Thanks all. Thank you.
Sent you an email because I was gonna forget those things, John.
Okay.
Davida, I sent you an email with 3 other things.